to you. Thank you very much. Pia Sundhage, you're sitting here for the second time in a row. 2011 was an amazing football year, that's for sure, and your team reached the final at the FIFA Women's World Cup, which of course you wanted to win. So with some distance to the tournament, how do you see the result of your team? Are you still disappointed, or are you also a little bit happy?
I am happy. I'm a happy person, and I'm happy that people care about a World Cup, about the women's game, and the reason why I survived that final is because we played wonderful football. It took two teams to do that, Japan and the US. And I'm happy the fact that great atmosphere in Germany, and I think we only see the start of something that will be wonderful 4 years from now and another 8 years. This is the beginning of the women's game.
Thank you very much. So we're glad you're happy. Thank you. So we would now like to open the floor to you if there are any questions. Please use the microphone. We have 2 microphones in the room. Please raise your hands. There's a question, just the second row, please.
This is a question to Mr. Sasaki. I'm a journalist from Brazil, from the state of São Paulo. My question is, I mean, you mentioned that it was a long process of preparation, that it was not from one day to the other. Brazil suffers a bit of this lack of continuity in the women's football. What suggestions would you give for the preparation in Brazil, or for the strengthening of football, women's football in Brazil? Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Well, Brazil, I would say, is not in such a poor situation. All of the Brazilian players are very strong from the technical viewpoint. But I would say that I'm feeling right now is that compared to the Brazil in past, I would say that in the past Brazil transformed itself competing against European teams to be really a modern football. And the women's football as a whole now very much tend to be similar to men's football. And at the same time, there are characteristics and features of each different national team which should be strengthened further, in my opinion. And I think overall, this way the women's football will be more evolved and developed. Thank you.
Any more questions? At the back, we have 2 questions. Graham Dunbar. And the gentleman next to him.
Thank you. Graham Dunbar from the AP. It's become sort of traditional at this event to ask the player nominees what their plans are, perhaps, to play in the US Professional League this year. Can I ask, actually all three, Marta, I imagine, staying with Western New York, but what are your prospective plans in what is an Olympic year as well?
I didn't actually follow that question. It was something about the United States. The US League. Is that right?
Repeat the question, sorry.
Sorry. Each year, Marta, you at this time you're about to sign a contract with a new team, and each year there's maybe some lack of stability in the league. So I just want to check for all 3 players, who you're planning to play for, if at all, in the US League this year. And for Abby, would it be nice to be a teammate with Homari again?
Well, I think this is the possibility of staying in the United States. But of course, there are also possibilities cropping up in playing in Europe. But from my point of view, I think they are the countries that, generally speaking, can provide a possibility to play at the highest level in very strong teams. Unfortunately, the United States League, at the moment, we have really 5 teams. But that doesn't mean that it will continue with those 5 teams. There is a possibility that in 2 years' time, more teams might actually join that league, and it might be as strong as we've seen in the past couple of years. So what are my plans? Well, I would like to continue playing at this level, either in the United States or Europe, to keep this level and play with players like Abi and Sawa, great players that I've been playing with now for quite a long time. There are a lot of young players coming up now, and I want to be able to keep playing at that level and keep developing as an athlete. They are my plans.
Abi, if you want to...
Yeah, so I think that the WPS is a fantastic league and has been home for all 3 of us at some point in the last 3 years. And I think, of course, I would love to play with Sawa, and of course I would love to play with Marta. Again, they're fantastic players. They would make me better. And I think, to touch on what Marta said, the truth is there's many great leagues in this world. In Europe and in the US, and we both are probably still deciding on what to do for next year. Being it that's an Olympic year, we have to be very careful on the contracts that we sign. I'm getting older, so my Achilles tendons and whatnot have to rest. So me, my agent, and my family will make the best decision, and the most important thing, in my opinion, is hopefully qualifying for the Olympics next summer and playing and vying for an Olympic gold medal.
Thank you. So, Sawa, what are your plans for next season?
Right. Similar to last year, I would like to continue to play in the Japanese team. That's my plan, and we would like to get the best conditions in Japan and build the results so that we can qualify for the international competitions. We would like to tune in the best manner our conditions so that we can get good results in the 2012 Olympics game. Thanks.
Thank you. So do we have more questions? I see one at the very front here. Or, yeah, gentlemen?
Rodrigo Bueno, da Folha de São Paulo.
Rodrigo Bueno from Sao Paulo in Brazil, and I have a question for Marta. Marta, year after year you come here and pick up prizes, and you ask for support for women's football, in particular in our country, in Brazil. Brazil's never really won a major title, and there are very negative images around the game in our country. And what do you think needs to be done about this? You talk about continuing to play in a league like in the United States or in Europe, and in spite of the fact that Brazil's economy now is growing greatly, the league for women's football in our country is not developing. And what do you think about that, and what can we do about it? Well, it's true, it's very disappointing to see this, and especially what happened with Santos. Santos is very important for me because of the time I spent there. And of course, it's not positive for the image of women's football in the game and for young girls who are looking to the future and their whole career ahead of them. And I really hope that there are improvements in that area. It's always sad when you see that, because generally speaking, we need investment and support for the game, and that's particularly true in our country. What can I do about that? Well, I do everything I can in Sierra Leone. I was involved with a project with the United Nations, where what we were trying to do is empower women. And I think generally you have to look for opportunities to show that women's football can develop, and we need to develop infrastructure, but we all need to do this together. You need to get the press involved, because without press you can't raise sponsorship and interest. You need to get the television involved, the government, and the federation. And so there are a lot of different actors involved who all have something to do to try to improve and develop women's football in our country. For a long time now, we've been seeing that the situation is stagnating, and there haven't been the developments that we would have liked to have seen. So what can we do? Well, we just do everything we can. But it's not just up to us.
Thank you very much. Also, thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoy the whole day, especially then the show tonight, and I thank you again for coming. Thanks.